In conversation with Maverick Montgomery. Maverick currently lives in the Midwest with his wife of 7 years, his two dogs and cat, Austen, Ava, and Jude. Maverick considers himself to be a self-proclaimed gamer nerd and gearhead. Before he got into writing, he grew up playing video games and watching Alfred Hitchcock movies, which inspired his love of all things mysterious. When he's not writing, it can be found in X-Man cave gaming, reading Marvel or Dick Tracy comics, which might inspire him for his next upcoming book, or usually indulging his wife ridiculous next project, antics, and finding ways to avoid telling her she's right. And on today's episode of Photo Interview, it's my utmost pleasure and joy to have on the show today Maverick Montgomery. How are you doing, Maverick?
I am good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing very fine too. It's exciting to have you on the show today. I'm excited.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very, very excited to be on your show.
Yeah. So, Maverick, could you tell us about your book, Stone's Edge, which is the first book in the series of the Stone Chronicles book series? How does this book come about and what inspired you to write in the genre of justice thriller?
So the book came about. So my wife is actually a full time writer. She writes romance.
Wow.
She writes romance. So kind of seeing her doing it the way that kind of seeing the steps that she took. So I'm like, you know what, I could do this. So like you said, I grew up watching or reading Dick Tracy comics,
Wow.
watching Alfred Hitchcock movies, kind of watching just the crime thriller shows. I'm like, you know what, I could kind of put this into a book. So that's kind of how Stone's Edge actually came about. And kind of writing the kind of going like the with the justice thriller, just kind of like those
Mm.
those twists and turns, kind of the just kind of leaving the readers in suspense, wanting that next installment, waiting for that, like what could happen next.
Wow. Wow, that's quite amazing to know, really. I love the start to this. And I love the inspiration behind it. Quite exciting to know. And now, then you have the second series, which is titled Blood from a Stone, which is, upcoming this year's March. For the sake of the to-be readers and without giving much information away, could we have a sneak of what we'd expect picking up Blood from a Stone? And I love to say that's such an amazing title for a book, really.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So
Yeah.
yeah, so Blood from a Stone is actually the sequel to Stone's Edge. So Stone's Edge
Oh.
is actually my debut novel. It's actually out now on Amazon. Um, and so Blood from a Stone picks up where Stone's Edge leaves off. So Jack Stone is my main protagonist in the books in the series with the Stone Chronicles. So the readers, Stone's Edge ends off on a cliffhanger. To kind
Wow.
of wanting you more, Blood from a Stone picks up where Stone's Edge leaves off. So kind of a little sneak peek about Blood from a Stone. So Jack has a bounty on his head, Blood
Oh.
from a Stone, and he has to not only figure out who put the bounty on his head, but the man that is wanting him dead.
Wow. Wow. This is quite exciting to know, really. I love the sound of it, really. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, now let's talk about feedbacks and criticism. As authors, we all have different ways of reacting to feedbacks and criticism of our works. I'm curious to know your opinion about criticism. How do you handle criticism as a writer, especially the negative ones?
So I will turn a negative into a positive. So I will look at, so if I get a someone reviews my book on Amazon or
Yeah.
whatever platform, and they give me a negative review, I will look over that review and see what I could change for the next book to make it better, or possibly maybe re-release the that book maybe at a later date. and try to
Yeah.
implement those and trying to turn those negatives into positives.
Wow. That's quite lovely to know, really. I love your take on that. Sounds very swift and quite, gentle. Yeah. So
Thank
thank you
you.
for sharing. Yeah. So, Maverick, I've always been fascinated about how authors, especially novelists like yourself, craft long sentences and bring words together in a way that it eventually makes a great novel. This always leave me thinking about how exactly they got their ideas and inspiration. Now, as far as writing is concerned, I would love to ask you, how do you get your ideas and inspiration? Where do you get the ideas to write in all of your series books?
So I get I get a lot of my inspirations, kind of like what I said, growing up. I watched a lot of detective shows, watched
Yeah.
my Hammer. A lot of my inspirations I get it from. I still read Dick Tracy comics to this day. They're kind of a lot of my inspirations. So I get a lot of that, and um, so I just kind of like just being that nerdy, just comic book guy. Just kind of getting those inspirations from that twist and turn, just kind of what the character could possibly face, just like a big case, and then just kind of those twists and turns of uh what could lead him down a case and kind of leaving for
Hmm.
that next big twist.
Wow. That's quite amazing to know, really. I love your inspiration as to this because, I've always been surprised about how people can just see that and bring sentences together in a way that it eventually makes a great novel. Even when you read it, you can paint image in your head. So that's why I love asking such kind of questions. So it's quite amazing to hear your take on this. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah. And now, Maverick, I'm curious to know if you experienced any challenges in the process of writing your book. If there is any, could you share with us what challenge it is and how you ultimately overcame it?
So the challenges that I have faced is having, and this is probably going to sound weird, but having like the characters talk to me. Like they technically they lead the story. I am just the person to put their story into onto pen and paper and then eventually
Wow.
into a book. There are times that the character will just not want to talk to me anymore, and it's like, okay, I have a deadline due. I kind of need you to talk to me so I can tell your so they actually they tell their story.
Hmm.
Um, so I have them those are the challenges that I kind of face is like they're not that's not coming and
Oh.
they're kind of not talk to me. So then eventually, okay, I kind of have to bring out some of the like kind of re-inspire them to start talking and like, okay, now I finally
Hmm.
have it, and then I kind of start to get it to get them talking again
Yeah.
to to tell their story.
Wow. Wow, that's quite lovely to know, really. I so much love your answers to this question. They made for an interesting discussion, so thank you for sharing.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. So, Maverick, apart from Stone's Edge and upcoming Blood from a Stone, do you have any other works you've authored or maybe currently working on?
Yes. So I am actually currently working on, so other than Stone's Edge and Blood from a Stone, I am actually currently working on a motorcycle club book called Forged in Hell. So I've always been a big fan of like the creature features, like the zombies, the werewolves, just
Hmm.
like those just those common monsters. But I've also had a love of like motorcycles. So just like the
Hmm.
biker gangs, like the Hells Angels, just kind of those like this just MCs. So I'm like, you know what? Why couldn't I just mash those two together? So
Hmm.
so Forged Hell is a monster those it's a monster MC book.
Wow.
Uh, Kind of a little bit of a taste or kind of a little bit of a sneak peek about Forged in Hell MC. So it is a group of monster bikers, and they are uh, trying to get revenge on a rival biker gang.
Wow. That's quite lovely to know, really. I love the sound of it. And hopefully, when that is up, we'd love to have you back on the show. That would be exciting to talk about it again. I
I would
love
love
this.
to.
Yeah,
Yes, I'd love to get our show again.
yeah, that's an amazing one. Now, Maverick, is there anything that you'd love to share with the viewers about your books that we did not mention in this interview and you'd love the viewers to know?
Um, probably the biggest um advice that I got
Yeah,
would be is to love what you write and write what you love. So I
interesting.
love the detective books, the private investigators,
Mm,
the MCs, the monsters. So that's just kind of what I love. So anybody that's wanting to become a writer, uh, write what you love and love what you write.
absolutely. Well, I love your advice. I love your take on that. And I'm hopeful that viewers, including myself, would love to utilize it. Now, Maverick, would you like to read a short section of your book to the audience? It could be your favorite line, your favorite, paragraph, or maybe your favorite page even. If you would love to do that, that would be fun, really.
Absolutely, yeah. So I have Stone's Edge debut novel out on
I love the
Amazon right
cover.
now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have asked you to show it to the camera. Please show it much better. Yeah,
Yes,
Stone's Head. Just a lovely cover design.
thank you, thank you.
Interesting.
So yes, yep. So all right. So chapter 7. So the large armored steel door muffles the voices carrying from within. Despite to get inside and confront them, demand answers. My hand grabs for the handle, turning it. It turns, but it's locked. The door refuses to budge. I could pick it, but I don't want to trigger any alarm or risk discovery. An idea springs to my mind. My gut clenches at the emotional pain of it will cause. It's the only way I can see to get inside with the element of surprise on my side. But
Mm.
as I walk quickly back to my Mustang, I don't know if I can bring myself to do it. Get your answers any means necessary. I hear my grandpa
Wow.
say in my mind, as it was his go-to advice in settling behind the wheel. I steel my nerves to follow it now.
Wow. That's such an amazing recitation, really. I love it. I love the sound of it. We're having a snippet into what you've just said. So that sounds quite amazing to me, really. Thank you so much for sharing. And now, for the sake of viewers who are currently watching this interview and would like to get a copy of any of your books, on what platform is it available on for purchase?
It is actually currently on Amazon right now. Amazon Stone's Edge is currently available on Amazon. You search Stone's Edge Maverick Montgomery. It'll be the first one up there. And currently, also, Blood from a Stone is available for pre-order. So
Mm.
if you pick up Stone's Edge and enjoy reading the book, I would definitely recommend reading Blood from a Stone, and I hope you enjoy more books to come.
Yeah, that's great. And I left a link in the discussion part of this interview where interested viewers can get a copy of Maverick Montgomery's books directly on Amazon and also on other platform. So thank you so much, Maverick, for accepting the invitation to be featured on P English Literature. It's awesome
Thank
having
you,
this conversation with you.
thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure as well. So lovely we can do this.